Have you ever wondered what really happens inside your prostate when you masturbate after the age of 60? For years, men have been told it is either unnecessary or even harmful. Yet modern science tells a very different story. Research from institutions like Harvard and the National Institutes of Health shows that regular ejaculation can improve circulation, lower inflammation, and even reduce the risk of prostate cancer. The prostate is not a silent organ. It is active, producing fluid every single day. When that fluid is not released, it can stagnate, creating pressure, discomfort, or swelling. Simple self-care through masturbation may help the gland flush itself, keeping tissues healthier and blood flow stronger. This is not about indulgence, but about biology, about giving your body what it quietly needs. In today's video, we will explore 4 surprising ways masturbation supports prostate health, from improved blood supply to hormonal balance, and we will end with a powerful insight that could change how you think about aging. Stay with me until the end, because the last benefit is the one most men over 60 have never heard of, and it may be the key to feeling healthier and more confident in your own body. The prostate is a small gland, about the size of a walnut, yet it plays a very big role in male health because it produces the fluid that nourishes and protects sperm. As men grow older, especially after the age of 60, this gland does not remain the same. Hormonal shifts, slower circulation, and gradual tissue changes can make the prostate more vulnerable to problems such as benign prostatic hyperplasia, also called BPH, or chronic inflammation known as prostatitis. Studies from the Mayo Clinic and the National Institute on Aging show that nearly half of men over 60 will experience some form of prostate enlargement, which can cause frequent urination, weak flow, or a constant urge to empty the bladder. These symptoms are not only inconvenient, they can slowly affect sleep quality, energy, and overall confidence. Many men begin to accept them as a natural part of aging, but the truth is that lifestyle choices and self-care can make a real difference. Regular movement, a balanced diet, rich in antioxidants, and even something as simple as regular ejaculation have been linked with improved prostate function and reduced risk of serious complications. Harvard research following thousands of men found that frequent release may lower the risk of prostate cancer, reminding us that the gland is healthiest when it stays active rather than stagnant. So, while the prostate does face natural changes with age, those changes do not need to define the quality of your later years. By understanding how the gland works and taking small but consistent steps to support it, men can protect not only urinary and sexual health, but also their independence and peace of mind. This brings us to one of the most overlooked yet powerful habits that can help, and we will explore that in detail in the next section. Benefit 1: improved blood circulation. One of the most important yet often overlooked benefits of masturbation for older men is the way it stimulates blood circulation in the pelvic region, especially around the prostate. As the body ages, arteries gradually lose flexibility, and the heart does not pump blood as efficiently as it once did. This natural change means that organs like the prostate receive less oxygen and fewer nutrients, both of which are essential for repair and healthy function. When circulation slows, waste products can build up, tissues lose vitality, and discomfort or urinary symptoms may gradually appear. Many men do not realize that weak urinary flow or a feeling of heaviness in the pelvis may be related to reduced blood supply rather than simply old age. Masturbation can help because arousal and orgasm trigger the release of nitric oxide, a natural compound that relaxes blood vessels. This allows them to widen and carry a fresh surge of blood directly into the pelvic organs, including the prostate. With this improved flow, oxygen and nutrients reach the gland, while old metabolic byproducts are flushed away. The National Institutes of Health has highlighted how better microcirculation supports tissue resilience and helps organs adapt to the changes of aging. In simple terms, masturbation acts like a gentle workout for the prostate, keeping it nourished and less prone to stagnation. Without this stimulation, the opposite often occurs. When the prostate is left inactive for long periods, fluids can accumulate, circulation slows even further, and the gland may become congested. Over time, this can increase the risk of swelling, discomfort, or even enlargement. Men who remain sexually active, whether with a partner or through self-care, often report fewer of these issues, and research suggests this is not just psychological, but linked to measurable biological processes. A consistent rhythm of healthy blood flow can make a real difference in how the gland functions over time. To make this idea more relatable, consider the story of a retired teacher in his late 60s who shared with his doctor that he had ignored his sexual health for years after his wife's illness. He soon noticed frequent nighttime urination and a dull ache in his pelvis, which he assumed were just part of aging. At his doctor's suggestion, he reintroduced moderate self-stimulation into his weekly routine. Within a few months, his discomfort eased, his sleep improved, and his energy returned. His experience illustrates how the body can respond positively when circulation is restored to an organ that depends on activity for health. Researchers at Harvard have even linked frequent ejaculation with a lower risk of prostate cancer, suggesting that improved circulation and regular flushing of fluids may contribute to this protective effect. By keeping the gland active, men may lower the likelihood of harmful changes taking root. This benefit extends beyond the prostate itself, since vascular health in the pelvic region is also tied to heart health and erectile function. Many urologists describe erections as a form of vascular exercise, reminding men that staying active in this way supports the entire cardiovascular system. Of course, masturbation should not be seen as the only solution. Combining it with light exercise such as walking, maintaining good hydration, and eating antioxidant-rich foods like berries, tomatoes, and leafy greens creates even stronger support for circulation. But self-stimulation offers a unique, localized benefit that no diet or supplement can fully replace. When practiced in moderation, often once or twice per week, it helps the prostate stay nourished and clear, reducing discomfort and supporting overall well-being. In the end, the message is simple and encouraging. Improved blood circulation is one of the foundational ways masturbation supports the prostate, keeping it nourished and less vulnerable to age-related problems. This is not about chasing youth, but about respecting the biology that still works within you. Even small steps practiced regularly can bring noticeable comfort and confidence. And as we move into the next benefit, you will see how this same process of renewal also helps reduce inflammation, another major challenge for men as they grow older. Benefit 2: reduced inflammation and cleansing of the prostate. One of the most common issues men encounter as they age is chronic low-level inflammation of the prostate. This condition, known as prostatitis, may not always be dramatic, but it can create a constant sense of pressure, discomfort, and urinary urgency that interferes with daily living. What many people never learn is that the prostate is a highly active gland that produces fluid continuously, and when that fluid is not released on a regular basis, it can become stagnant. This stagnation creates irritation and swelling, leaving the gland feeling congested rather than clear. Over the years, the result can be more frequent bathroom visits, restless nights, and a gradual decline in comfort and confidence that feels unnecessary if the gland is properly cared for. Masturbation, by stimulating ejaculation, helps the prostate avoid this cycle of buildup. Each release allows the gland to empty, clear out older secretions, and start fresh. This process is much like rinsing a filter, so it continues to work efficiently rather than clogging over time. By preventing accumulation, the prostate remains less irritated and less prone to inflammatory changes. According to guidance from the Mayo Clinic, regular ejaculation can support prostate health and reduce the likelihood of developing chronic prostatitis, a condition that often becomes difficult to treat once established. This simple act of self-care works with the body's design, ensuring that the gland continues its natural rhythm rather than being forced into stagnation. Scientific research adds further weight to this understanding. A landmark study from Harvard University tracked nearly 30,000 men and discovered that those who ejaculated 21 times or more per month had a significantly lower risk of prostate cancer compared to those who ejaculated less frequently. While the exact biological mechanisms remain under study, many specialists believe that this regular emptying reduces concentrations of potentially harmful substances, lowers inflammatory responses, and keeps the prostate tissue healthier. In other words, ejaculation is not only about sexual satisfaction, it is also a form of preventive care that can offer meaningful protection as men grow older. Real experiences help bring this science to life. Consider an older gentleman in his 70s who, after losing his spouse, quietly abandoned all sexual activity for years. At first, he thought he was simply moving into the next stage of life, but over time, he noticed pelvic heaviness, restless sleep from waking to urinate several times a night, and a persistent fatigue he could not shake. When his doctor explained the role of regular release in maintaining prostate comfort, he cautiously reintroduced gentle self-stimulation. Within a few months, he reported that the pelvic pressure had eased, his nights were more restful, and his overall mood improved. His story highlights how simple, respectful habits can restore not only physical ease, but also emotional well-being. Of course, balance remains important. Too much stimulation may cause temporary irritation, while complete abstinence allows congestion to build. For many men, 1 to 3 times per week is a reasonable rhythm that keeps the gland clear without strain. Combining this routine with other anti-inflammatory choices, such as eating tomatoes rich in lycopene, drinking green tea, exercising regularly, and maintaining good hydration, offers additional layers of protection. Together, these small practices create a foundation for healthier aging, where the prostate is less inflamed and more resilient. The key lesson here is that the prostate was designed to stay active. When men see regular release not as indulgence, but as maintenance, they begin to respect their biology and care for it in ways that improve quality of life. This reframing turns a once taboo subject into an empowering health strategy, and as we transition to the next benefit, you will see how this very same practice not only reduces inflammation, but also helps regulate hormones, which play a central role in sustaining energy, strength, and emotional balance throughout the later decades of life. Benefit 3: Hormonal balance and stress relief. Another important way masturbation supports prostate and overall health in older men is through its effect on hormones and the stress response. As men age, testosterone levels gradually decline, while cortisol, the body's main stress hormone, tends to rise. This hormonal shift can influence energy, mood, sleep, and even the ability to control inflammation. When cortisol stays elevated for too long, it suppresses testosterone production and leaves men feeling drained, irritable, and less motivated. The body was never meant to live in constant stress, so finding gentle, natural ways to restore balance becomes especially important after 60. Masturbation plays a role in this balance because sexual arousal and orgasm set off a wave of beneficial hormones and neurochemicals. The body produces endorphins, which act as natural pain relievers and mood boosters, and oxytocin, often called the bonding hormone, which promotes relaxation and trust. These chemicals do more than create temporary pleasure. They help counteract cortisol, lower blood pressure, and calm the nervous system. Research from the National Institutes of Health confirms that sexual activity, including masturbation, can regulate hormonal cycles and contribute to better emotional stability and sharper mental clarity. This explains why many men notice deeper sleep and more refreshed mornings when regular release is part of their routine. Testosterone also responds positively to sexual activity. While levels may not remain high permanently, studies have shown that arousal and ejaculation can produce short-term boosts. These boosts support muscle strength, mental focus, and libido, all of which are crucial for maintaining quality of life later in life. For men who stop engaging with their sexual health, the lack of stimulation may signal the body to lower testosterone even further, accelerating decline. By practicing self-care, older men gently remind their body that testosterone is still needed, helping to maintain a healthier balance for longer. A personal story illustrates this clearly. A retired firefighter in his early 70s once described losing his vitality, saying he felt tired, withdrawn, and far from the energetic man he once was. After learning about the hormonal benefits of self-stimulation, he reintroduced it in a mindful, moderate way. Within weeks, he noticed clearer thinking, less tension in his body, more restful sleep, and even the confidence to return to light physical activity. His experience reflected what research shows, that stimulating the sexual system is not about chasing youth, but about keeping the body's hormonal rhythms active and supportive of well-being. Stress relief is another critical benefit. Many older men quietly carry heavy worries about health, finances, or family, and these ongoing concerns weigh heavily on the nervous system. Without healthy outlets, stress accumulates and harms both body and mind. Masturbation acts as a natural release valve by triggering relaxation hormones that shift the body out of stress mode and into recovery mode. This reduces anxiety, strengthens resilience, and supports heart and vascular health. Research from the University of Michigan even showed that oxytocin released after orgasm can lower blood pressure and create a calming effect that extends beyond the moment. As with all things, moderation matters. Too frequent stimulation can cause temporary fatigue, while complete abstinence can allow hormones to become imbalanced. For many men, 1 to 3 times per week feels like a natural rhythm, though listening to the body's needs is more important than following strict numbers. Pairing this practice with stress management techniques such as slow breathing, walking outdoors, or stretching makes the benefits even stronger, creating steady support for both emotional and physical health in later life. In summary, masturbation is more than a private release. It is a natural way to restore hormonal balance and protect the body from the harmful effects of stress. By boosting endorphins, oxytocin, and short-term testosterone, it helps older men feel calmer, clearer, and more energized. This shows that caring for the prostate is not only about avoiding illness, but also about nurturing vitality and quality of life. And as we transition to the next benefit, we will see how this same practice also protects against congestion and enlargement, 2 issues that many men quietly face, but can often prevent with simple, consistent self-care. Benefit 4. Prevention of congestion and prostate enlargement. One of the silent challenges that many men over 60 face is the gradual enlargement of the prostate, a condition known as benign prostatic hyperplasia, or BPH. This condition occurs when the gland's tissue grows and presses on the urethra, making it more difficult to urinate. Symptoms often include a weak stream, frequent nighttime urination, or the uncomfortable feeling that the bladder never completely empties. While BPH is not cancer, it can significantly affect quality of life and is extremely common, with the National Institute of Diabetes and Digestive and Kidney Diseases reporting that more than half of men over 60 may experience it. The frustrating truth is that this enlargement often develops slowly, influenced by hormones, age, and lifestyle, but simple habits can help reduce the risk. Masturbation contributes to prevention because it helps the prostate stay active and clear. The gland naturally produces secretions every day, and when those secretions are not released, they can accumulate, creating congestion that contributes to swelling over time. Regular ejaculation empties the gland, preventing buildup and allowing tissues to remain flexible and less irritated. This process is often compared to a maintenance cycle, similar to flushing an engine, so oil and fluid do not sit stagnant and cause blockages. Studies have shown that men with more frequent ejaculation often report fewer urinary symptoms, suggesting that regular release may play a role in lowering the chance of BPH or at least slowing its progression. There is also a circulatory benefit tied to this process. When ejaculation occurs, blood flow increases to the prostate and surrounding tissues, which helps carry away waste products and delivers oxygen and nutrients. This flushing effect reduces the chance of stagnation and supports the immune system's natural ability to keep tissue growth in check. The European Urology Journal published findings that frequent ejaculation may contribute to a healthier prostate environment by reducing the concentration of harmful substances that can trigger growth or inflammation. In this way, self-care serves as both a cleansing mechanism and a protective factor against long-term enlargement. A personal example helps bring these ideas into focus. A man in his late 60s once described how frustrating it was to wake up multiple times each night, to urinate, and still feel as if his bladder was not empty. His doctor explained that part of the problem might be congestion within the prostate. When he began combining lifestyle changes such as hydration, gentle pelvic floor exercises, and moderate masturbation, he noticed steady improvements. The trips to the bathroom became less frequent, his nights were more restful, and he felt relief knowing he had some control over his condition. While these steps did not reverse his enlargement completely, they reduced the pressure and helped him manage symptoms without immediately relying on surgery or heavy medications. It is also worth noting that prevention of BPH involves more than just sexual health. Maintaining a balanced weight, eating a diet rich in vegetables and healthy fats, staying active, and limiting alcohol or caffeine all play supportive roles. But masturbation adds a unique element because it directly affects the gland itself, keeping it active and free from congestion. Doctors often encourage men to see this practice not as indulgence, but as a simple, natural way to help the prostate stay clear. By combining it with other healthy routines, men can create a stronger shield against one of the most common and bothersome conditions of aging. In the bigger picture, preventing congestion is not only about avoiding symptoms, but also about preserving independence and dignity. Nighttime trips to the bathroom, interrupted sleep, or constant worry about urinary health can wear down confidence and energy. By practicing regular self-care, men can reduce these risks and feel more in control of their own well-being. This shows that even simple habits can bring powerful benefits when practiced consistently, and as we transition to the next section, you will see how these combined effects, better circulation, reduced inflammation, balanced hormones, and protection against enlargement, come together to form a complete picture of prostate health that every man deserves to understand. Comprehensive impact: physical and mental health. When we look at all the benefits together, it becomes clear that masturbation is not just a private habit, but a form of natural self-care that supports both body and mind. Improved blood circulation nourishes tissues, reduced inflammation protects against discomfort, balanced hormones restore energy, and regular release prevents congestion and enlargement. Each of these effects works like pieces of a puzzle, creating a stronger and more resilient prostate as men age. Beyond the gland itself, the calming hormones released during climax ease stress, improve sleep, and strengthen overall emotional health. This combination means men can enjoy not only better urinary and sexual function, but also a greater sense of vitality and confidence in daily life. It shows that simple, consistent habits can help protect independence and quality of life well into later years. As we move to the next section, it is important to also recognize the need for balance and caution, because even healthy practices must be approached with awareness. Caution and when to see a doctor. While masturbation is generally safe and beneficial, it is important to recognize when symptoms suggest something more serious. If you experience persistent pelvic pain, burning during urination, blood in the urine or semen, or difficulty emptying the bladder, these may be signs of conditions that require medical attention, such as infection, advanced BPH, or even prostate cancer. The National Cancer Institute emphasizes that early evaluation often leads to more effective treatment and better quality of life. Consulting a urologist, like Dr. David at Lenox Hill Hospital, can provide reassurance, proper diagnosis, and guidance tailored to your individual health. Remember that self-care and medical care work best together. Healthy habits such as regular ejaculation, good nutrition, and exercise support the prostate, but professional evaluation ensures that nothing serious is overlooked. By combining both approaches, men can age with confidence, knowing they are addressing problems early while still practicing simple routines that keep the body strong. As we move to the final part, let us bring these lessons together into a message of hope and encouragement. When we take a step back and consider the larger picture, it becomes clear that masturbation is far more than a private act. It can be an important tool for supporting prostate health and overall vitality in older men. By naturally improving blood circulation, flushing away inflammation, balancing hormones, and preventing congestion, this practice works in harmony with the body's biology. Research from respected sources like Harvard and the Mayo Clinic confirms that regular release is not simply about momentary pleasure, but also about reducing long-term risks that commonly affect men as they age. The impact also reaches well beyond the prostate. Endorphins and oxytocin released during climax help lower stress, improve sleep, and build emotional strength, making everyday life more enjoyable and less weighed down by worry. Practiced in moderation, about 1 to 3 times per week, masturbation can become a safe, balanced, and empowering habit that allows men to age with dignity, confidence, and renewed energy. Even in later years, the body still carries the ability to heal, adapt, and thrive when given the right care. What matters most is understanding that protecting your prostate does not always require costly treatments or complicated routines. Often, the most effective answers are the simplest ones, rooted in natural biology and supported by science. By pairing consistent self-care with professional medical guidance when needed, men can safeguard their independence and peace of mind well into their later decades. So let this serve as an encouragement. Your health is still in your hands, and the choices you make today can transform your tomorrow. If this message spoke to you, please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and share it with a friend who could benefit from hearing it. Leave a comment below with the number 1 if you feel inspired to take action, and let us know what surprised you the most. Together, we can break the silence around men's health and help each other live longer, stronger, and more fulfilling lives.